Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about control systems or control styles. Now in window fashions, shades, shutters, and blinds, it can be very complex and overwhelming, including with control systems. So we're going to try and keep it super simple and go over several different classes or categories of control. We call them operator-free, wand systems, chain and shroud, and motorization and automation. Let's get into it. So in the first category, what we like to call operator-free or truly cordless, it means just that. There's no motor driving the shade, there's no wand, chain, or pulley attached to it. It's a cordless shade, and there's basically two types of operator-free. So, one, we have a neutral balance, and two, we have a spring up or spring tension shade. Now, technically, both of these systems have a spring inside the headrail. We don't need to go into the minutia or the differences between them, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to demonstrate both. With the traditional spring up shade, that's what people think of when they think of a cordless shade. That's where you have to engage the shade by giving it a tug, and then if you don't reset that spring, it's going to snap up into the headrail. This has definitely been the standard for a long time, but more and more of the systems are moving more towards the neutral balance. And the reason why is that you can touch the shade, control it cordless, and simply let go, and it maintains its position. Now, in both of these systems, the tension that's happening on the spring inside the headrail is determining the start and the stop points, how quickly it raises, and the size of the shade. So this is a really great option for a number of reasons. One, it's clean aesthetically, there's nothing hanging there. Two, it's great for child safety because there's no danger of cords or wands getting entangled with the little ones. And three, it is really easy to operate. However, there are some issues with cordless systems like this. One of them is that they cannot do as large of shades. The second is that they can be difficult to reach. So if you have someone that's shorter or a window that's behind a piece of furniture or up high, this might not be the best solution. Now, lots of different styles can come with this operator-free system or truly cordless system, but not all styles. So there are some products that it's not ideal for. Something like a silhouette shade may come cordless or be offered, but it's often difficult to operate when you want to tilt or overlap the vanes at a very specific level. The same is actually kind of true for banded shades or zebra shades. This one works really well because it's small, but larger shades with heavier fabrics, you'll see the headrail or the bottom rail start to lift up, or the vanes won't align perfectly because of that spring tension. So one of the most cost-effective options, and while not necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing, it is still extremely functional, and now, with some of the new innovations, also child safe, is a traditional chain control shade. Because of the new health regulations surrounding window coverings and window covering controls, a lot of the new systems have to have a shroud that actually encloses the chain. So it's not enough to just hold it down or pin it at the bottom with a P-clip anymore. And every company has some version of this chain shroud or chain guard product, but they all have some type of enclosure where you're only allowed to have a specific amount of the chain exposed, and you'll have a clear plastic or white plastic guard that runs the length of the shade. So these are great because you can drive larger shades, they're relatively easy to use, and they're extremely durable. But they don't look that great, and they can sometimes be a little cumbersome depending on the brand and the product that you're looking at. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about different wand systems. And basically there's two. There's motorized wands and manual wands. What's great with motorized wand systems is that you can use the wand to control a shade that might be hard to reach behind a piece of furniture, or if the shade's really large. And depending on the company that you're looking at, they're all going to have some different system that works really well. So some of them, you give the shade a tug once to start it, a second to stop it, and a third to run it in the opposite direction. Some of them will have an up, a down, and a stop button on the wand itself. Or, like this system, you just tap the wand in the direction that you want it to go, stop by giving it a tug, and then pull in the other direction to run the shade down. Now, with the motorized wand systems, it really does depend on the fabricator or manufacturer that you're working with. Some of them are battery systems, some of them can be hardwired with low voltage, some of them will have solar, so there's a lot of complexity. Depending on the shade, they may be rechargeable from the bottom of the wand, or the battery system may live in or behind the headrail. So it's really important to pick the right product for the application based on reachability, the size of the window, and the product class that you're looking at. That being said, most of the styles of shades will have some version of a motorized wand, but not all. Now we're gonna move on to manual wands. So what's great with motorized wands is that you just give that shade a tug or press the button and it'll start moving. With manual wands, we are gonna have to manually manipulate the shade, and there's lots of different styles based on the size of the shade, the fabricator, and the application to look at. So let's check out a few of the more popular ones. So with manual wand systems, there's a lot of different products on the market. It's really just gonna depend on the fabricator or the manufacturer, how that wand operates. You're gonna be pumping or pulling the wand in one direction or the other to pull the shade up or down with some of them. Some will have two wands, one to raise the shade, one to lower the shade, and some will have a spring or release mechanism where you're pumping the wand or pulling the wand and then engaging a clutch to drop the shade, like the one behind me. Another example of a wand system is where we have two wands attached to the shade, one to raise and one to lower the shade. This one's really cool because it's also spring assisted. So with a simple one or two pumps, you can raise or lower the shade. And last, but certainly not least, my personal favorite, motorization or automation. Now with motorization and automation, we can actually control both drapery and shades with these systems. And to keep things simple, there's basically going to be battery or hardwire. In all of the different brands and fabricators, there's a variety of types of control. There's going to be some kind of hand remote or wall remote system, or you're gonna have an application where you can actually schedule the shades and have them open and close at different times of day. What's gonna determine whether it's battery, whether it's hardwire, whether it's a wall remote, a hand remote, or an app is really just gonna depend on the style of shade and the fabricator that you're working with. But across all of the different brands and manufacturers, they're going to have some type of system that's either battery or hardwire and that has an app, a wall remote, or a hand remote to control the shade.